Hello, everyone. My name is Meg Moonbeam, and welcome back to my channel. And today I have a very special guest, the one and only Ethan Lucas from Syrona and ethanlucas.com and Lightborn TV. And what else do you have, Ethan? You have a whole bunch of freaking stuff going on.
I'm also the granddaddy poobah of the New Earth Project in Tennessee. Now I teamed up with
Right.
Sasha Stone. We're building the first New Earth location in the United States, right here in good old Tennessee in the Appalachian Mountains, about 5 hours east of Nashville, which is my home base. I now bounce back and forth between Nashville and out here in the mountains because we're building a what I would call, and you may have stumbled across, you mentioned, we were talking before we jumped on the show here in the green room. You started reading my book series, The Jesus Q Connection, where I talk about the ecclesia, which is what Jesus started. If you go back to the original Greek New Testament, the word church appears nowhere in the Bible. It doesn't even appear in the Old Testament, in the original Hebrew. It's the Greek word ecclesia that Jesus started. And ecclesia, if you do the research on that, it goes back to the original democratic republic idea in ancient Greece, and it actually has a legal definition. An ecclesia is a lawful assembly of sovereigns, and ultimately this is why they really went after Jesus, because his movement was actually more political than it was spiritual. I don't think you can really separate the two, unfortunately, but I think ultimately that's why they came after him, was because it was more political than it was spiritual. And that's just the truth. I mean, a lot of people don't like it, but literally the word church appears nowhere in the Bible. Jesus never started a church. He started an ecclesia. He started a lawful assembly of sovereigns. And that is what we're doing with the New Earth Project here in Tennessee with the amazing Sasha Stone and his life work. I don't know how much you know about him, but he at one point ventured his way up to the upper echelons of the UN, and he's well connected with every major government out there. We are paving the way to actually usher in the kingdom of heaven on earth, as we were commanded by Jesus to do, and rebuild that ecclesia, that sovereign assembly of sovereigns, or that lawful assembly of sovereigns. And we're going to basically franchise this and blueprint it, teach everybody how to do this. So you can quit worrying about who you got to vote for and all this stuff, because very soon that becomes obsolete. It just atrophies and falls off, because we're building the new system, and you don't have to vote for what you want anymore. You just do it.
Bam. Okay, there you go, guys. Wow, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. My husband and I might have to find a way to freaking Tennessee to what did
You
you call it?
will.
The New Earth?
New Earth
What's it called?
Project. Oh,
New
there's
Earth
someone in the
Project.
chat from Johnson City, not too far from here.
Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
cool. Hello to everyone in the live chat or watching the replay. Thank you all for joining us. Liberty is Mine says, I'm a Syrona customer. Elixir is amazing and has been turning my gray hairs back to its original color.
There you go.
Wow. So let's just rewind for one moment, Ethan. So how the heck did
Yeah.
we get connected? So time feels so weird for me right now, by the way. Are
Yeah.
you feeling that too? Like
Yeah.
time is...
And by the way, we did this to where you don't have to edit it. You know how the good podcasts like start out in the middle of the podcast and then they go back to the beginning. So we already did that. Now you don't have to edit it. So yeah, let's do that rewind real quick. And also real quick, I want to answer that question. I promise it'll be 30 seconds or less.
Yeah.
The reason why the elixir is making your hair go back to its normal color, it's not changing the gray, brown, or whatever color your hair is. Again, what it's doing is the killer pigmentation is going back into the hair as it grows now, because you were deficient in glutathione. Glutathione is one of the major glutathione deficiencies is one of the major causes of people losing color in their hair. It's not because you're aging. It's not because you're getting older. It has nothing to do with that. It's about deficiencies in the body. So anyway.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. So just do a little rewind. So how we got connected was, I think it was a month ago. It might have been 2 months ago. Again, time feels very weird for me right now. I put out this video that went a little bit viral of me doing a reaction to this doctor that I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah.
Sorry, you might know who this doctor is. He went on InfoWars on Alex Jones's show, and he was testing him for like nanotech or like nano stuff in his body. And it was coming up all over Alex and all over a military dude that he had with him.
It's going to come up all over everybody.
Right.
Sasha Stone and I just did a big 5G summit on this. In fact, the Zeolite product that we worked with Dr. Robert O. Young on enhancing his original masterpiece product. That's what we were talking about in that whole entire summit. It was a long one. We had Dr. Judy Mikovits and Scott McKay. Of course, Sasha was there. I was there. We were in the studio in Nashville. And yeah, we were just talking about that. Everybody's got these MAC addresses in their body now, and it's in everything. It's not just because people are like, "Well, I didn't get the vax, so I'm fine." Hate to break to you, it's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the soil, it's in the food, it's in the burps, it's in the coughs, it's in the sneezes, it's in everything.
Scary.
Yeah.
That is scary, and
Sorry,
something
I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, no problem, it's all good, and that's something
For
that
the
as a
viral
s
video.
yeah, so I always felt that even before the shots came out intuitively.
Hmm.
Like, there's something going on, and I didn't know what it was, but just could feel energetically like there's something being passed around here, like, implanted into us. So,
Yep.
anyways, yeah, I put out this video, and, your chief of staff of Syrona, we've been following each other for years now,
Hmm.
and, she reached out and said, "I'm a part of this business, and we actually help people clear, cleanse, and detox from heavy metals, from" I don't know how far we can go with all the different words because 'cause we're on YouTube
You
and Rumble,
yeah, hey,
but
that's up to you. I won't crash your channel, but if you do, that's on you. I can't even be on YouTube unless I'm on somebody else's channel. I've been kicked off of YouTube and Facebook so many times. My podcast
really?
is 10 years old, yeah. But
Wow.
most people don't even know about me except for like the last 5 years because I finally figured out how to do live podcasting on my own website on ethanlucas.com, and then Rumble came out, so now I'm on Rumble, but I'm not even on YouTube except for being with somebody like you who can
Mhm.
maintain the language. Apparently I can't do it. I got tired of self-censoring, so I can't do it.
It's interesting because I was maintaining the language for a while, which is really hard for me because 'cause I'm a
Hmm.
Scorpio, and then recently, I just don't give a shit, and I'll just go all in, and I haven't had any strikes or anything, so
Lucky you.
knock on wood. We'll see about
Yeah.
that. But, yeah, anyways, got connected with your business and you, and I said, "I would love to have you on as the CEO and founder of Syrona." This,
Hmm.
it sounds like totally innovative stuff what you guys are doing,
Nobody
and
has anything like it. I can tell you that.
yeah, and we've also got Jox4 in the chat says, "Yes, I love Elixir." Cool. So we've got some people in the chat that are even already Sirona users. And I haven't tried the products yet, but you guys have sent my husband and I some packages that we're very
Yeah.
grateful for that I'm really excited to receive very soon. So definitely going to do some follow-up videos
Yeah.
about that. But I wanted to, even before using the products, touch base with you because for me as a professional Western astrologer, I'm constantly talking all the time about how with the current astrological transits, our health is really, really important during
Yeah.
these times. And we're being absolutely blasted by these historical transits, solar storms, all these things going on. We're being upgraded, right,
Hmm.
energetically. And so there's that layer of why it's important to take care of our health. Nonetheless, also the poisoning that's going on, right?
Yep.
So before we get into Sirona and all that, do you want to just speak a little bit, Ethan, on who are you? How did you get into natural health? And how did you get into being the CEO of your own company?
Okay, so I've always been entrepreneurial. I started my first business when I was in middle school. I got in trouble for selling candy. That was not allowed. In fact, the school government would not even allow me to apply for a permit to sell candy at school. I'm kidding, that's not a thing. But yeah, that was my first business was selling candy to kids who they always wanted candy. They always forgot to bring their own. I'm like, I'm going to capitalize on this, right? So I've always
Right.
had that mentality of filling a need in the market. And I actually started my own general contracting company when I was in my early 20s. My grandfather on my dad's side, he was a custom home builder. He was a Southern Baptist minister too, which is a lot of the reason why that and my mom raised me in a Pentecostal Church of God, which is why I know so much about the Bible. I actually became an
Mhm.
ordained minister myself at one point until I renounced all of the worldly systems and their certifications for the Babylonian black magic. But
Mm.
so that was my first business was a high-end general contracting company. We did mostly well, we did some new builds sometimes, but I found at least for what I was doing, the best thing for me and my company was to do And what I enjoyed was high-end remodels and additions, and also insurance claims. In fact, we had to rely on insurance claims during the bailout and the housing market crash, because my business actually almost went completely under when that happened. But luckily, I figured out the insurance game. Insurance companies always have money. They have more money than God, and they always will. In fact, just so you know, life insurance companies hold up the entire world economy. If it weren't
Mm.
for them, everything would come crashing down. But so that's what kept my business together. But we eventually went back to, when the economy got better, we went back to doing, the high end interior design remodels. Actually, and this is an interesting thing, especially for right now. Not that it really means anything, but I got to remodel, because I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, and a lot of you know that Les Wexner and Epstein operated out of Columbus, Ohio, with the Limited brands, right?
I did not
And
know that.
yeah. And so I actually started working at one point in that business with Les Wexner's personal trainer. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I started working with an interior designer that knew Les Wexner's personal trainer, and my company ended up doing the remodel on his house that was actually he like has a separate house on his property there in New Albany, which is
Mhm.
the rich suburb in Columbus, Ohio, on the east side there, which is very close to where I was born and raised. But he has a separate house there on his property for his personal trainer. So we remodeled Les Wexner's personal trainer's house, which was interesting. But anyway,
Wow.
so yeah, that was my first successful business. And my grandfather on my mom's side, he was actually a nutritionist, and he was like really big into conspiracy theories and things like that. So that kind of led me down that path. So between my grandfather on, my dad's side, who was a custom home builder, which is where I got the whole construction thing from, and a Southern Baptist minister, which kind of led me into Bible stuff, and also being raised in the crazy cult that I was raised in, the Pentecostal Church of God. But then you also had my grandfather on my mom's side, who was a nutritionist and a conspiracy theorist. I mean, he led me. I mean, I was reading books in the 90s by Elizabeth Clare Prophet, Nostradamus, Edgar Casey. I was reading that stuff in the 90s. In fact, one of the coolest books he gave me actually was a book written by Dr. Peter Duesberg and Brian Ellison, who used to be scientists at the CDC. They left and exposed the HIV/AIDS hoax that was created by Fauci. The book's called Why We Will Never Win the War on AIDS. I read that in 94 or 95, I think.
Wow.
I've got a big, Fauci HIV/AIDS thing coming out. Hopefully that doesn't get you any marks for saying that. But, and
That's
then
okay.
also the C word, um,
Is this the
because
book right here? Sorry to interrupt you, Ethan.
yeah,
Is this
that's
it?
it. I highly recommend everybody read that. So, my, I was making money with my construction business pretty early on, and I stuck with that for a long time. I actually just recently sold the business several years ago, not all that long ago, right before I went on the Truth Tour with Lewis Herms, who is now a California gubernatorial candidate. A lot of you already know who that is, but if not, I highly recommend you go check out Lewis Herms for governor for California. But I went on Truth Tour with him several years ago, and I had sold the business right before I went on tour with him, the construction business. And that's the time where I actually started my practice as a naturopath. And along the way, I have mentored with two naturopathic doctors, one who used to be a medical doctor, and he gave up his medical license, became a naturopath, and another one was an Amazonian shaman. I mentored with those three guys for 5 years each. Of course, I went to grad school with naturopathy and stuff like that. But quite frankly, I learned way more actually mentoring with real doctors and a shaman than
Right.
I ever did sitting, behind a screen or, reading a textbook and regurgitating information back to the teacher on test day. That's mostly what our education system is. It's sad, but
Mhm.
um, so yeah. And I went to, let me back it up a little bit more. So I went to Ohio State undergrad with psychology there. It was actually going to be architecture when I first started. And then I realized I was more interested in, the building and the artistic and the design side of it. I didn't want to draw 30 pages of plumbing and electrical specs for every house I designed. So I was like, I think business degree, no offense to anybody who has a business degree, but I think, the business classes I was taking and stuff at Ohio State, I was like, business is a joke. I want to, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to own my own business. I don't need to study their version of business so I can go work for somebody else in their business.
Mhm.
I want to study human psychology. And that was the stuff I liked anyway. So I did my undergrad in psychology. And then of course, graduate school was all naturopathy, natural medicine and things like that. And then trying to think here. So it was right around the time of the Truth Tour. That was what, 2021, 22, somewhere in there,
Mhm.
losing track of time now. That was the time where right before that, a year before that, I'd sold my construction business and I actually started working with another nanotech company that makes glutathione, but theirs is actually water based. And I started to discover issues with it. Now, it was fantastic when I first got involved because taking even just a little bit of water based glutathione is better than taking nothing. Right. And so I was actually on the board of that company. I was really good friends with the founder of the company as well. But as fate would have it, we ended up having differences, and I'm not here to bash them at all, but a lot of you can probably figure out who it is. But I actually met a small group of scientists, and they were into nanoscience and nanotechnology, and we
Mm.
formed a relationship, and we figured out how to formulate actually something that was 10 times as potent and more stable than the stuff for the company I was with before that I sat on the board for. And
Wow.
one of the reasons is largely because theirs is just completely water based. I mean, this isn't a dig or a bash, or it's not defamation or slander. It's literally a scientific fact that glutathione is highly unstable and it's not very stable in water. In fact, one of the scientists that is part of our company, he used to have a pharmaceutical company, not a, like a pharmacy, like you walk in and fulfill your
Right.
prescription for antibiotics, but a pharmaceutical company that would make glutathione for intravenous purposes for clinics and for hospitals.
Mhm.
And he said that, of course, it's all water based, has to be, you're injecting it, right? And the reason they do that is because glutathione, you can't just swallow it. Even the lipid stuff, it doesn't work. It just gets destroyed in the stomach acids, and you might absorb a little bit, but not much. So obviously, the best way to get it is to inject it. A lot of people know this with glutathione, with NAD plus, and we have that now in a lot of other things.
Mhm.
Nano's just better because if you nano size it, you don't have to inject it, but otherwise you would have to inject it. You have to get it straight into the bloodstream, or you don't get any of it, right?
Right.
So the whole thing with water-based glutathione, and this is what one of our scientists, that's actually a partner in the company, said to me very early on. He was like, when we would make that water-based glutathione for the IVs for the clinics, if we didn't sell it within 24 hours, we had to throw it away, and it was kept at extremely cold temperatures.
Wow.
So that should tell you everything you need to know about other glutathione supplements out there. I knew there was a problem with it. And so we addressed that with Syrona. That's one of the big reasons I started the company, because glutathione is called the master antioxidant of the body for a reason. It's super important, super powerful. It helps your body recycle vitamin C. It will detox. It will slow down aging, if not reverse it in high enough quantities. If you run out of glutathione, you die. It actually helps keep your telomeres from shrinking. If
Mhm.
you run out of telomeres, you're dead, right?
Yeah.
There's so many things glutathione does, and we don't need to make a whole show about glutathione. In fact, a lot of people already know because there's been a lot of hype about it, that
Right.
NAD plus lately. But the bottom line is, it's the most important thing you can put in your body, because as you age, and I'm almost 50 years old, this is the result of glutathione for just, what's it been now, four,
How
five
old
years ish.
Sorry, Ethan, how old are you?
I won't say my exact age for a lot of reasons, but I'm almost 50
Okay.
years old. Okay. And
What?
yeah, dead serious. I'm not kidding a little bit, not at all.
Wow.
The glutathione is that important. And of course, we've added it to a skin spray with nano hyaluronic acid, nano collagen, nano resveratrol, nano B vitamins. And, you spray this stuff on your face. It's just a fine mist. I do that like
Mhm.
5 times a day. That does contribute. I think it's taken about 10 years off my face. But
Wow.
the other really important part is the internal, taking it internally. Because so let me get to my point I was making. As you age, once you get to my age, your
Mhm.
body's making about half of the glutathione that it used to make. And it's not going to go the other way. You're not going to start making more. It's just going to get worse and worse. This
Mhm.
is honestly, in my opinion, I'm not saying this is a medical fact. It may not be, but my opinion, based on my research and what I've seen, one of the biggest reasons why people age and eventually die is because of lack of glutathione or glutathione deficiency.
And
It's that important.
sorry to interject, Ethan. What is glutathione? Just for someone who has no idea what that is. It's
Glutathione is actually an amino acid chain. It's called a tripeptide, or it's a peptide. It's made out
okay.
of 3 amino acids.
Okay.
So it's very fragile because those 3 break apart, and this is why you can't swallow it. It gets destroyed in stomach acid. So a lot of companies are like, oh, well, we'll wrap it in liposomes, and protect it from the stomach acids, and then maybe some of it might magically get absorbed in the intestines somewhere. But what ends up happening is even if the stomach acids don't destroy, get all the way through that lipid coating, right? Then it means it goes into your intestines, and then it still can't absorb because it's in a lipid coating, or
Right.
it destroys the lipid coating in the stomach. And then once that happens, the glutathione is instantly destroyed because there's nothing left protecting it. So you might get about 10% of the glutathione out of those liposomal supplements. Your only other option besides Syrona, which will give you 99.9% plus immediate instant absorption sublingually in the bloodstream, under the tongue, in the mouth. Your only other option is stick that needle in your arm. And that's why you see people already in the chat just praising it so heavily, because what we've done something nobody else has done. We have a completely proprietary technology and process for the way we nanosize and stabilize it. This never has to be refrigerated. It has a true 2-year shelf life. Compare that to water-based glutathione, which, again, when they're selling it to the clinics for the IVs, has to be thrown out 24 hours if it's not sold.
Wow.
And that's refrigerated at almost freezing temperatures. Now, ours, you don't want to put it in the refrigerator or freezer. You'll actually ruin the product. We have something called that we call stasis, STA-SUS. It stands for stable suspension nanotechnology. And it has a true stable suspension in a water and oil nano emulsion base. So it doesn't break down.
Right.
That's the secret sauce that's missing from a lot of these other supplements. And people are like, well, why would you say that? That you're giving away the secret. They're not going to figure it out.
Right.
There's only a few scientists in the world that know how to actually do this.
So when you say you're using nanotechnology, it's not literally nanotechnology like the dark art occultists are using against us.
We're nanosizing it.
Nanosizing.
It's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right? Well, because a lot of people don't know this, but all a nano isn't bad. All nano is it's a measurement, like a micron or a meter,
right,
or a centimeter, right? A nano is just it's 1,000 times smaller than a micron. That's how tiny it is. And that's what allows it to go in the bloodstream. Because normally if you put glutathione in your mouth, even in a liquid form, it's not small enough to go into the bloodstream, into the cells, to be absorbed directly in the bloodstream. It has to be nano-sized. And by the way, there's a lot of companies not only that don't know how to make stable glutathione nano-sized, but it's also not truly nano-sized, so you're not really absorbing it.
Do you think, Ethan, that most natural health supplements and things are not being absorbed properly, or is this something
1,000,000%.
specific? Okay, so it's not just glutathione.
It's always been a huge problem. I've known about it since I was a kid. My grandfather was a nutritionist. He was telling me about this as soon as I was old enough to understand English. He had me on the highest quality vitamin supplements when I was really little, and even those you don't have perfect bioavailability with those. It's really hard to absorb the nutrients without them being destroyed in the stomach acids, and also absorb properly in the body and be used by the body. Just because people do it all the time, take vitamins that says it has a bazillion % of your daily value of this, and you swallow it and you get nothing. One of the reasons you get nothing, not just the problem with the absorption and the bioavailability, is most companies you would be astounded as how many we actually make ours right here in the US. We make it in the US. It's ours. Nobody else has it. But you'd be astounded to find out how many companies out there just white label the same stuff that a bunch of other companies are white labeling from overseas, and it's absolute garbage.
Wow.
And here's one of the reasons why. It's really cheap to use chemical or heat extraction to get the nutrients out of whatever source you're getting them out of, the plants or whatever. But when you use chemical and heat extraction, you destroy the nutritive value of what you're pulling out and sticking in a capsule or even in a liquid. So
Mhm.
again, it might say a gajillion percent of whatever on the bottle, but it would be what us naturopaths call dead nutrition. So even
Mhm.
if you do absorb it, your body can't even use it. So more than likely, it's just going to pass through. This is why most people will take vitamin supplements and they're like, it's a scam. It doesn't do anything. Most medical doctors are like, vitamins are a scam. And I'm like, yeah, 99% of them are a scam. But it's not that vitamins themselves or the
Mhm.
nutrients that you should be taking, like the stuff in our Syrona products. It's not that that's a scam. Your body has to have them. You can't live without
Right.
them. It's that the difference is we've made it very stable, very bioavailable, and we shrunk it down so small so that it nanosize, so it absorbs directly in the bloodstream. By the way, all these nanobots and all the nano stuff you keep hearing about, all the bad nano, you can't fight nano without nano. That's the other reason we went down to the nano level, not just the absorption problem, but you're not going to be able to deal with stuff on a nano level if all of your stuff is at the micro level.
Mhm.
It's 1,000 times bigger than the nano stuff, you know?
Right. So, what is the product that you guys have that helps the most with detox? Does everything that you have help with detox? You've got
Everything does to a point, but some of them more so than others. Elixir, the absolute most, because it is nanosize glutathione, nanosize D3, and nanosize B12 all together
okay,
in one supplement. The other
amazing.
thing that will help with detox tremendously is the zeolite.
Mhm.
And it's basically nanosized zeolite with C plasma, structured C plasma. That's why we call it a zeolite. Now, we actually started working with Dr. Robert O. Young to enhance his zeolite, nano zeolite formula, which is called Masterpiece. So, what you're getting here is actually an enhanced version of Dr. Robert Young's original process of nanosizing the zeolite. And it is easier to nanosize minerals because zeolite's a mineral.
Mhm.
It's easier to nanosize minerals because they're not really alive. They're not like, a peptide, like an amino acid chain that's really fragile. You're not going to hurt zeolite. You know, it's a
Right.
rock.
Right.
So it didn't surprise me that Dr. Robert O. Young was able to do this, and that's nothing against him. It's still a tremendous feat to be able to nanosize something and make a great product, which is why we teamed up with him. We wouldn't be using it. We were actually already in the process of creating our own nano zeolite. And then I teamed up with Sasha Stone, and he's got a good relationship with Dr. Robert O. Young. He's like, hey, why don't we work something out here? Because it makes sense. And I'm like, okay, let's see if we can enhance the Masterpiece formula and, maybe use our technology, change things a little bit if we need to, or tweak things, whatever, to make it better. And so that's how we ended up releasing the Zeolite product. So if anybody's been taking Masterpiece and you like it, you now have something with Syrona and all the other products available to you with Syrona, not just the nano zeolite. And nano zeolite is important. It does all this stuff that's nanosized. It'll cross the blood-brain barrier. You want it to, you need it to, because all the
Mhm.
garbage that got in to your body that crossed the blood-brain barrier, it ain't getting out unless it's got a carrier to go in and pull it back out across the blood-brain barrier, right? You need like
Right.
firemen going in to rescue people out of the fire. It's not,
Mhm.
a lot of people say, you don't want things across the blood-brain barrier. Well, how are you going to get it out? you know?
Right.
Yeah, no, you do.
Exactly.
And zeolite does take care of heavy metals. It does do things with the pineal gland. I'm not going to make medical claims. Don't need to. I never do. You don't have to.
Mhm.
Medical claims are a joke anyway. There's a reason why medical doctors won't even make medical claims, even though they're medical doctors, because you can't cure, prevent, or treat a disease. You really can't.
Mhm.
They treat symptoms. Is what they do, unless you're doing surgery and cutting something out, or unless you're taking an antibiotic that actually kills bacteria, right? But a lot of times
Mhm.
that's not even solving the root problem. But at the end of the day, the zeolite does do a lot for the pineal gland. We'll just put it that way
Yeah.
in generic terms.
And is it okay, Ethan, to be using different products together? Different Sirona products
Oh,
together?
yeah, you can take them all. I take them
You
all
can
every
take them
day.
all together.
Yeah, and one of the really cool ones we have that can help with detox, because actually it's the largest receptor system in the body. The endocannabinoid system is the largest receptor system in the body. There's a reason for that. It's so funny every time, really religious people find that out for the first time. It's like, wow, God actually made the largest receptor system in the body for cannabis. Wow. Oh man, I've been lied to. No kidding, right? Yeah. So our
Right.
endo product, nano size CBD, super potent, full spectrum. Oh, sorry, here.
Yep.
Super potent, full spectrum CBD oil. Scott Stone from True Stream, the first time he tried it was live on air, and he actually caught a head buzz from it. Not because there's there's no THC in it, but it's because of the entourage effect of the other chemical elements within cannabis, within
Right.
the full spectrum hemp, that work together to actually create that euphoric feeling. Again, it's the largest receptor system in the body, but you won't fail a
Mhm.
drug test. There's no THC in it. And it's also got nano-sized vitamin E in it as well, another antioxidant.
Got it.
Um,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Just want to bring up
Oh, go
before I
ahead.
forget, Ethan. Wolf Mother says, "How about parasites?"
Well, the body has a natural ability to eliminate parasites if you give it the right tools. Glutathione is one of those things. The zeolite, because it's nano zeolite, does help with that as well. One of the things, like parasites, they have a positive charge to them, right? And all of this stuff, these are natural um, antioxidants. They naturally reduce inflammation. And those are the things that hinder your body from getting rid of parasites naturally. So you start taking all these things, you're going to lower your oxidative stress. You're putting the most powerful antioxidant in the world in your body that your body has to have or you die. And
Mhm.
it decreases every year as you age, your body's ability to make it. And you start putting in like the nano zeolite, which is our zeolite, with that nano glutathione and the nano NAD plus. By the way, we didn't talk about the Lucid. NAD plus is actually what your body uses to make its own energy. I'm talking ATP at the mitochondrial level, right? That's another thing that decreases every year as you age. That's why
Mhm.
people start to get more and more tired as they age. Everything's breaking down. There's more inflammation, more oxidative stress, less NAD plus, less glutathione in the body, and it's just it snowballs from it. It's an avalanche effect. So we start
Right.
reversing those things by adding the Lucid, which helps DNA repair, mitochondrial energy, which actually allows your cells to do their job. If your cells don't have enough energy, it can't. It does the most vital things first. The detoxification process and getting rid of parasites goes on the back burner, right? Because you can still
Right.
live with parasites. Your body's like, I'm going to do the bare
Right.
minimum because, y'all have my red stapler and I'm not getting paid here. So,
Sorry, Ethan.
cute
Sometimes my
gato.
cat sometimes Ocean comes in. Are you
Ocean.
happy
I
about that?
love that name. Do you have 11
Yeah.
of them? Because then it would be great to be Ocean's
That
11.
that would be great. Yeah, he's a half Siamese. He's very talkative, and he comes
Stripey
in when there's
socks. I like
something
it.
very interesting. So, you like what we're talking about, Ocean?
I think
You're happy
so.
about it. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So oh, sorry. So the Lucid, you brought that up. So that, as you said, NAD supplement helps with boosting cellular energy, enhancing DNA repair, also like age reversal as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Well, because DNA repair. Yeah, that lucid's vitally important. And so you start, I mean, honestly, we would put them all together in one bottle if we could, but you can only fit so much stuff in a bottle, and our stuff is really potent. And also, look, it's very targeted too, like the lucid, for example. It's not just NAD plus, it's also nano-sized huperzine A and nano-sized bacopa monnieri, which has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years for brain health, right? So you want to talk about using things in conjunction with the zeolite to cross the blood-brain barrier to get things out of the brain that are bad. You
Right.
couple up the lucid and the zeolite, you're in for a real head clearing. Let's put it that way. Um,
Wow.
Parasites, though, I will say the one more thing about parasites before we move on.
Yeah.
We are actually working on a specific nano parasite cleanse.
Okay.
And so that should be out probably sometime next year, but um, it's not out now. And I will say this, there's a lot of things that you don't have to nano size. Technically, we could probably put out a really potent parasite cleanse, which I prescribe for my people that come to me for health consultations as a
Mhm.
naturopath. I have a protocol I put people on for parasite cleanses, and it works. Even the like nasty intestinal ones and all that. You don't have to have it nano size, which is the good thing about that. Which is one of the reasons why we weren't in a hurry to do it.
Right.
But it's like we're here, we might as well. So we're working on it. We'll probably put it out next year.
Well, that's very exciting. How long
Yeah.
has it been that Syrona has been up and running?
13 months now. Yeah,
Wow,
very new. And so
very
anybody
new.
who's you guys are literally getting in on the beginning of this. I mean, this is more exciting than I think when Apple first released their first computer, because where we're going with this, and coupled with the New Earth project with Sasha Stone and all of the technologies and the scientists that we're partnering with, and all of the global governments that Sasha has agreements and relationships with. I mean, look, that the Africa project with New Earth is going to be, you know, probably 1,000 times bigger than the Tennessee one.
Wow.
And yeah, we're going to have some really amazing technologies that we'll be able to produce over there that we won't be able to produce here until we get our mind control freaks in DC under control.
Hmm. Yeah. So you guys, if you're interested, can actually become an affiliate of Syrona. And it's not an MLM scheme like some other things out there. I've gone into some of those before. Do you want to speak a little bit, Ethan, on what does it mean, like if you become an affiliate of Syrona?
Yeah. So what we did, and actually, I've always thought the MLM model is brilliant. It's one of the most brilliant ways to make money. It really is, because you're
Right.
literally getting paid to talk about something that you already take anyway, right? Could you imagine if you got paid to go out and talk about the favorite movies you watch with your favorite actors and actresses, or your favorite songs by your favorite artists? So the concept is brilliant. And it's really a lot like what Ray Kroc, think of him what you will. I don't think he was a great guy, but it was brilliant what he did with McDonald's in that franchising system. You take one person, you give them a prepackaged business model, and you allow them to create as many of those as they want to, right?
Right.
And so, and even if you get only, I think it was Ray Kroc that said this, I'd rather have 1% of the effort of 100 people than 100% of my own efforts, right? So that's the brilliance of the MLM model. Unfortunately, there's so many crooked companies out there that manipulated people's trust, and they're like, oh, this is MLM, this is great, I can just recruit a bunch of people, and it's the whole Ray Kroc franchising concept, brilliant, this is going to be awesome. And a few handful of people make it at the top, and then a lot of times, and we're seeing it now with some big name companies that are actually flipping the lights out on some people after 4 or 5 years of influencers building up some of these companies that, by the way, are selling garbage supplements anyway, that are being white labeled from overseas, and they won't tell you that.
Right.
It costs them $2 for a bottle, they're selling it to you for 80. um, it's wild what's going on. But anyway, they will, after 4 to 5 years of having influencers build their company up, they'll flip the switch and turn it into an Amazon business. Now it's full retail. Now anybody can just go order direct from them, now that everybody knows about them. And all the influencers and all the affiliates and everybody who signed up to build it, they get cut out of the deal.
Right.
So it's stuff like that. And then the gimmicky stuff, like you got to get 3 people to get 3 people to get 3 people to sign up your neighbor's cat's dog's tree in their backyard, right? We cut all that crap out. What I did was I took all the really good stuff from MLM, all the really strong, smart business, economic sense from it, right?
Mhm.
And the power of leveraging, and we combined it with just a standard straight up affiliate model. So we call it AMM. It's affiliate membership marketing. So it has all the good stuff that you would want from MLM without all the really gimmicky, annoying stuff where you end up getting screwed out of your monthly bonus because you missed it by $1. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was going to be 5,000, but now you get nothing because you missed it by $1. And it just, these MLM companies do stuff like that. We don't do anything gimmicky at all. It's really straight up across the board. If you want to just be an affiliate and promote it yourself, all of the revenue sharing, and by the way, it is revenue sharing because we're a nonprofit PMA as well. We do not operate in commerce. So we're not a normal business model like most of these vitamin MLM companies. We're a true nonprofit private membership association. You have to be sponsored in by another sponsor. We're never going to pull the rug on people later. You can't just buy Syrona. You literally have to come in with a sponsor. And if you don't, you'll be assigned one. And that's how it works, because it is a true
Mhm.
nonprofit health ministry, PMA, private membership association. And so if you're a rock star and you just like, hey, I just want to sell stuff, go find all these doctors and chiropractors and dentists and health practitioners, I just want to go sell. You can make a lot of money doing that. Just every day, get in your car and go out and just sign people up on Syrona, and you make a lot of money. You never have to try to build, your MLM tree, whatever, but you have that option if you want to do that.
Right.
And so that's the beauty in it. Otherwise, it's just a straight up affiliate program. and you're a member of the health ministry of the PMA. And by the way, we pay out more with our revenue sharing because we're a nonprofit. We're not making profits at the top. There's not a board of people to pay and fancy cars and big office buildings and stuff. All we scrapped all that stuff. All we have is our lab and our warehouse
Hmm.
and in our office, like at home. Literally, our people work from home. I'm not taking money away from our members just so we can get a nice, cushy, fancy office, and they can all sit around and probably not even work as much because they have to sit in traffic all day when they get up, and they're not in a good mood when they get there, and then they got to sit in traffic and come home, spend less time away from their family. We want everybody to be healthy in this, as healthy as
Right.
possible, and a lot of that comes with ditching that whole corporate mindset and all the bullshit with that. So we've totally changed. I mean, we're literally the spearhead here, trailblazing and setting the precedent for the market. If other companies don't follow suit with us, everyone's just going to leave everyone else and go with us, because it's like, well, why wouldn't you? Why do I want to get involved with a Babylonian commercial system market of a MLM company that's selling me garbage, white labeled from overseas, that doesn't even work, and they're going to end up cutting me out of the deal later anyway when they flip the switch? Why? And then they're putting all the money into their board members and I know how it works. I was a board member on one of these companies. It's bullshit. The big fancy office buildings and the big cruises they pay for every year and the big parties. Guess who's paying for that? All the people that are out there promoting it. It's money that you're
Right.
not getting. So we cut
Right.
all that nonsense out, and we not only put everything 100% into the products we put in the supplements, we put 100% into the people as well.
Well, I am so excited for you, Ethan, and so grateful that you're someone that you have the knowledge, you've been studying. Like, I started reading one of your books and realized how much research you've done for years and years and years. You're one of us truthers that knows everything, that you haven't let it get you down. You've let all that information in and empowered yourself and empowered others. And I have a lot of respect for you and your whole team for that, because if we really want to go past this, I think we're in a spiritual war right now.
100%. Everything's
and
spiritual. Spirit's
and
the root, physical is the fruit.
exactly. And I think the light is winning, and the light is going to win, as it always does, but we have to take care of our physical bodies. Something I notice in the spiritual community is a lot of the times people will think you can just, and of course we can pray. I'm not saying prayer isn't real, but you just do this little meditation with your angel cards and you're healed from your issue. No, we actually have to be grounded in our physical body and be taking care of our physical health,
Yeah.
as well as being in the spiritual realm.
But your body's an antenna. If you can't receive a clear signal from home, how are you going to know what you're supposed to do here? Because you're here on assignment, right? We all
Right.
are. First of all, most people don't even know what their assignment is. I started tapping in when I was a kid. I started to learn to meditate. I knew there was something wrong with the traditional religion that I was raised in. I started tapping back to home through the pineal gland when I was a teenager. And that helped me tremendously, because it's not an easy road. I mean, people just think like, oh, you pray, then it gets answered, or it doesn't get answered. No, every prayer will get answered according to the measure of your ability to manifest it. Right. And the Bible says we've all been given the same measure of faith. So we all get the same amount, but it's up to you to cultivate the potency of that, the ability of that faith to manifest. And a
Mhm.
lot of people, they just want sugar daddy in the sky to come down and do everything for them. That's not even why we're here. It wouldn't even make sense to be why would I want to go somewhere and then call myself a free will agent, as if it would be a free will agent, if I can just sit around and have some, outside thing just be at my beck and call. Like, first of all, that's kind of manipulative and selfish anyway, isn't it?
Mm.
I think it's
Yeah.
wild, but that's not how it works. You're here to develop your own ability, your own power. Jesus said, you will do greater things than what I've done. He didn't stutter when he said it either. So, the fact that nobody on earth that I've seen has done greater things than what Jesus has done, except on occasion, that's not happening on a regular basis, tells me that the whole world got everything absolutely wrong.
Mhm.
Um, you do have to work on yourself. It's not going to be easy. And the sooner you start and the more you do it, the easier it will be.
Yeah.
And the easier you are on yourself with this, the harder life's going to be on you. The harder you are on yourself with this, the easier life's going to be on you. I think a lot of people right now you see people going nuts. I do anyway.
Hmm.
They haven't gone through the dark night of the soul yet, and now they're being forced to, because I firmly believe we are in one of those. We are in the revelation time in the Bible. This is the great white throne judgment. And by the way, Revelation, it's the apocalypse, right? Well, apocalypse doesn't mean the end of the world. It doesn't mean that there's going to be big nuclear. I mean, it can happen, but it does. That's not what it means. That was all pasted over top of this by ignorant religious ideologies that are not rooted in truth. Apocalypse means to reveal. That's why it's called revelation, the
Hmm.
unveiling. This is literally the spiritual inward collective road that we're all hitting that point where, okay, it's judgment time now. um I hate to tell you, but Jesus is not going to come flying down out of the sky on a white horse like Lone Ranger dodging Katy Perry space capsules and 747s. That was never it. Even Jesus said that in Luke chapter 17. He told them, when they asked when they would see the coming of the kingdom of heaven, Jesus said, you're not going to see it. You can't. It's not physical. You will never be able to observe it. Kingdom of heaven's within you. And then he turned to his disciples in the private and he said, not only will you not see it, but there's going to come a day when you're going to long for it, and people are going to say it's happening. And he said, do not believe them, do not follow them. The kingdom of heaven's
Mm.
within you. So this time of revelation in the second coming, it's all internal. And if you are not participating in that second coming, that great white throne judgment right now, in this apocalypse, this time of revelation, you're going to get tossed around to and fro, and you're going to be looking for fake stuff out here. You're going to look for idols out here in the material
Right.
matrix instead of the God within, because that's where the second coming happens. That's where the resurrection happens. That's where the real changes take place. And again, it's not easy. You have to pick up your cross and follow Him, and that's what it means by that. Like you got to do stuff. Um,
Hmm.
you have an inherent right and an ability as a spirit, a literal clone of source God, to have everything that you want, as long as you're not violating, harming, or damaging somebody else, and do all these things. But we are immersed in this murky, heavy, dense realm of a lot of challenges. And if you think we were put here, or we are here just so somebody can come wipe our butts, well, then you got a lot of learning yet to do. But I
Mm.
do see a lot of people, like, they haven't done the inner work yet. And right now, all these alignments and the stuff that's going on, it's kicking their asses.
Yep. That is totally right. Totally agree with everything you just said. We have a couple comments in the live chat. Jan Latner, hello, Jan, says, Ethan, can we give your glutathione to our cats and dogs?
Well, if they like the taste of bubble gum, I would say you could, but because it does, it literally
It
tastes like
tastes like
candy.
bubblegum.
The elixir tastes like fruit punch, and then the panacea, which is our glutathione, nanocollagen infused MCT oil. A lot of people drink MCT oil. That's what this is for. It actually adds nanocollagen and nanoglutathione to it, so it's not just MCT oil, but it actually tastes like Bazooka Joe bubblegum. And there's nothing artificial in it, nothing bad for you in it. We use
Right.
all natural organic oils to flavor everything, and stevia to sweeten it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
but
love that.
so yeah, I wouldn't recommend giving it to your cat or dog. I don't think it would hurt them. The only cautionary tale I would think, and I'm not a veterinarian, would be the amounts of like the vitamin D3 in it. Because
Right.
even humans can overload on D3. It's not going to kill you unless you just like took an absurd amount of it every single day and absorbed every single bit of it, and you did that for like 2 years straight. But you can get vitamin D overload. In fact, we found out just how potent our supplements are from putting so much nano-sized D3 in the elixir, because there were several people actually coming back to us saying, hey, my doctor said I have to stop taking the elixir because my vitamin D levels are through the roof. So that tells you that it works, right? I don't
Wow.
hear people saying that taking other vitamin D supplements.
Mhm.
So we're actually backing off the amount of vitamin D in the elixir pretty significantly, because apparently it works better than we thought it did.
That's amazing. And I know you can't make any medical claims, Ethan, but are there any testimonials that stand out to you that you've heard from clients of yours that have taken some of your products?
Alex would actually be the person to ask that, because she hears this stuff all the time. But she's in the process of putting together a testimonial list for us. And I have people actually coming on to do video testimonials. I will tell you the one that sticks out the most in my head is not actually what you would call a customer, and we don't have any customers. Everybody's a member, and I understand why you
Right.
use the terminology because it makes sense to people, but I
Right.
just want to clarify that. But this is actually another influencer, Chuck Swindoll Jr. I don't know if you know who he is, but he
Did
had,
he interview you? Because I think I
yeah,
watched an yeah.
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Did you see how his arm was and his leg was before he started using our skin spray? He's
Yes.
had this nasty condition, and if you can find, I think he might have pictures of it there online.
Yeah. I'm
If
gonna
you can
try to
find it,
bring it up.
because I don't have them on this computer. I'm in a new. This is a new studio I built here, moving out to the Appalachian Mountain area to build the New Earth, Tennessee project.
Right.
I've got most of my stuff on the other computer in Nashville in that studio, but he had this condition, skin condition, that I think it started when he was a teenager, early 20s. And he said he's had it for decades, and every medical doctor has said it's incurable. There's nothing you can do. And it was really bad, like nasty, scaly, red, just like really, really bad stuff. Yeah, that's him right there. See if you can find the pictures if you just scroll through there.
Yeah. Just
Um,
I'll find it in one sec. Let me see here
yeah,
where it
but he was told by every medical doctor he ever went to it's incurable. He's literally tried absolutely everything under the sun. And honestly, again, I'm not making medical claims. I'm just telling you what he's told us and his testimony on what happened.
Mhm.
Um, we didn't make the skin spray product. This is what we're talking about here. The skin. We didn't make this for this reason. We, you know what? I think I did 2 interviews with him. He may have shown it on just the
Did
first
you?
one. I don't know.
I think I watched this one today and I saw it on there, but I don't know why
Okay,
it's
well,
not coming
it's
up.
probably on there. You'll just have to
Yeah.
maybe slow roll it. It might be more toward the middle or end. Yeah, he was holding up his arm there. You see, there's nothing on his
Yeah.
arm there anymore.
Nothing on his arm.
But yeah, but it was nasty, red, scaly, gross. Like it's some kind of, I think he said it was some kind of fungus that they
Yeah.
can't get rid of. And he
Right.
said he's literally tried everything, including pissing on himself, and nothing worked. And so he's like, I I didn't even know he had this. We send out with influencers. If you have a show and you're above a certain, status. When I say status, I don't mean you're like better than somebody else. I just mean like followers and your
Right.
activity and all that stuff. Um, we send out packages of stuff for them to try. And so we sent him the normal package we would try, and it had the skin spray in it. And he was like, he's like, Ethan, I really didn't think it was going to work because nothing works. But he's like, I figured I might as well just try it because I sent it to him. It was free, right? He had nothing to lose. He was astounded. He said within a matter of days, like 3 days, it was a super noticeable difference. And within, I think it was 7 to 10 days, it was almost completely gone
Wow.
just from using our skin spray. And again, I'm not making medical claims about it. I'm just telling you what he told us and what happened with his experience. And
That's
it's not
unbelievable.
designed to do that. It's designed in a way that, because what it does is it makes, from what we've found in our research in our lab and all of our work, this specific formula that I came up with, which by the way, I got the idea for this formula in a download in meditation while I was in the shower. Same thing with Elixir. I do a lot of meditating in the shower. For some reason, maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius, but I like to stand in running water and meditate, right?
The
But
water
the,
bear.
yeah. So I got the formulation in a download for that. And it really, what it's designed to do is just give the skin absolutely everything it really needs to replenish what it's missing right now and to combat all the constant bombardment of chemicals and oxidants from all the oxidative stress and the inflammation and all that. You give the body what it needs, it knows how to heal itself. That's another reason I don't have to make medical claims, because
It's so true.
the body heals itself,
Mhm.
but it can't if it's broken down, if the signals aren't firing right, if the cells aren't communicating properly, if the DNA is damaged, if it's clogged up with, all kinds of forever chemicals and microplastics and inflammation, oxidative stress. You're bombarded with all of it. And the body can only take so much. It's actually amazing how resilient the body is if you think about it, how much we're bombarded with.
Mhm.
And like literally, one of my cousins, she's a chain smoker. She's like 95 pounds soaking wet. She eats nothing but bologna sandwiches and hot dogs and drinks Pepsi every day, like it's going out of style. She's been doing this for her whole life. And I mean, you could tell it's aged the hell out of her. She looks really, really, really old for her age, but she's still alive. And I think about it, I'm like, she's doing all that to her body on top of, she's a blue collar worker, does really hard construction work. And she does that, wear and tear on her body, eats literal trash and poison every day in gargantuan amounts, chain smokes, and she's still alive. So I think that's a living testament right there
Oh
of
my
how
God.
amazing and resilient our bodies
Yeah.
are. But look, if you take care of it, look at what you can do. Again, I'm not the sexiest guy in the world. I may not even be the youngest looking guy for my age, but I think I look pretty good for being almost 50.
You
And this
definitely do. I can't
this
believe it.
this is what you can do with, number one, you don't have to eat a perfect diet. I don't let me fool you or anyone else fool you. Like, oh, Ethan eats perfect. I don't eat perfect. But you know what? I can eat a lot more junk and get away with it because I take really good stuff that counteracts it, right? But imagine if, I mean, I would probably look even better and be even healthier if I did eat perfect. And you could potentially, we're working on it with the whole New Earth project. But honestly, in the world we have now, it's really hard to. It really is. I mean, I
Mhm.
got to travel and stuff. What am I supposed to do? You know, carry a satchel of like organic food with me everywhere? Like that's not going to happen. It's going to go bad really quick. And then everywhere you go, the options you have are like, it's like, what are you going to do? Right. That's
Mhm.
the other reason why it's really, 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 really important to get the highest quality supplements you can to counteract and detox from all the crap that's out there.
Yep. So true. And just one more question, Ethan. I want to be respectful of your time.
Mhm.
Co-Create Happy says, Ethan, for clarification, if we're suffering from the bad COVID nanotech, what is your best product to start with if I can only afford one for now?
It's a tough one for me because I think at the end of the day, technically the elixir would be the best one, but I've actually seen a lot of people, myself included, get better results from taking Lucid, which is the NAD plus, because it actually supports glutathione production in the body. It works synergistically with it, and it gives you more energy. And so you'll feel probably more effect from that, but there may actually be a little more actual cellular effect from the elixir with the glutathione. And here's the reason I say that. You remember when the I like how she spelled it, convid, right? Remember when that was new, it was fresh, and everybody was getting sick and all these deaths everywhere, right? Um, and people were getting sick because they were pumping something. Now I have a theory, and I talk about it in my book series, The Jesus Q Connection, of what it actually was. I think it was a chimeric virus parasite coupled with graphene oxide, almost like, you know, they call them little nanobots, and they really
Right.
are, because they're chimeric, um, almost robotic, if not robotic. It's just crazy nanotechnology, right?
Mhm.
I think that's what it was. I don't think it was just a simple coronavirus,
Right.
because that's been around forever. It's a cold virus. There's a lot of weird stuff happening, and a lot of stuff with around graphene oxide. And one of the things I've noticed is glutathione does really help detox from graphene oxide. So does zeolite, which is in the zeolite product, right?
Mhm.
But you got to be, I'll tell you this too, be careful with the zeolite. If you start to use it, and it tells you how to use it, 5 drops twice a day under the tongue. It tastes like salt water, it tastes like the ocean. Um, if you start to feel icky, like really icky taking it, I just back off on it, because that means your body's really detoxing. It's really working. And drink tons of water. You should drink tons of water, like 100 ounces of water a day anyway, like with the elixir when you first start taking it, because it's going to pull a lot of stuff out, and you can kind of feel that too, right? Some people do, some
Mhm.
people don't. But let me get back to what I was saying about that thing they called a virus. Um, and the other reason I say I don't think it is because things like ivermectin and
Yeah.
hydroxychloroquine worked, and those don't work on viruses. They work on parasites. But anyway, people were having success getting over that and healing the people that were getting sick, like legitimately sick, using NAC, N-acetylcysteine. You remember that? Some people
Mhm.
call it NAC, but
Mhm.
it's NAC, N-acetylcysteine. And that's actually what uh, hospitals give to people intravenously, by the way. That's what hospitals give to people who have had a Tylenol overdose. Hopefully that
Wow.
one won't get a strike on here because I wasn't even thinking about that with the stuff with Donald Trump recently and the Tylenol. But
Yeah.
the reason is because it really detoxes the liver, right? Now, N-acetylcysteine is a precursor that the body uses to produce its own glutathione. So the biggest reason why it works for liver detox and why it helped a lot of people to get over that so-called virus thingy is because it was giving your body the raw materials it needed to make its own glutathione. But it's not as effective. Glutathione is way more effective. And here's the thing. The reason it's not as effective is because, again, your body makes less and less of glutathione every year as you age. So you can give it all the raw materials to make glutathione that you want. But if your body's ability to make glutathione is diminished, why wouldn't you just give it glutathione? Because your body's not making enough of it, right?
Right.
So you can take all the NAC you want, your body's only going to produce so much, or you can take the actual real thing. And so that's why it works so much better. I really wish, and maybe it happened this way for a reason, but I was gonna say I really wish we would have had Syrona out 2019, 2020 when all that mess started. But
Mhm.
come to think of it, maybe it's better that we didn't because they may have came after us pretty hardcore because I guarantee you people would have had massive success with shutting down the insanity with all the illnesses out there.
Wow. Yeah, well, I think everything happens for a reason and you're doing it now. And this is such a blessing to the world and so exciting that it's only been 13 months that you've had this going. And just want to clarify too, I might have already asked you this, Ethan, so
Mm-hmm.
sorry if I have, but all the products you can take every single day, the
Yep.
CO light, you need to break it up every 30 days. Is that correct? And take 2 weeks off?
To cycle it, I would recommend cycling it just because
Okay.
it literally is a detoxifier. Like that's really all it's for. And it's not something native to the body. It's not something your body has to have. So technically you're introducing something artificial into the body that it doesn't need, but it's a tool that it works really well.
Right.
So if there's any caution I would say around anything, it would be around the zeolite because it's a mineral that your body does not have. It's not an essential mineral, but it does help your body detox really, really well. And it also neutralizes those MAC addresses and those sorts of things that, like what you were talking about, the doctor that went on Alex Jones'
Mhm.
show, scanning. We have somebody in our group that was part, and I'm skipping on her name right now. Forgive me if you ever watch this, but she was on that 5G summit with Dr. Judy Mikovits and Scott McKay and Sasha and myself and several others. But she actually has that device and she was showing
Wow.
her results from testing people with it as well. And it's absolutely unbelievable. You have to see it. It's like literally you won't believe it unless you see it. Like even myself, because I'm very much a skeptic. I have to almost see it to believe it unless I can prove it mathematically, right?
Right.
Or it makes sense within the known realm of the laws of physics here. It's wild. Literally everybody has these like they were walking through the graveyard over the graves with this and showing the the MAC address signals coming up. I mean, it's wild.
That is so trippy. Oh
Yeah.
my god. That's like a
So
horror movie.
so yeah, I encourage people to use the seal, like, even if you only do it once, just to get this crap out of your body, right? But I have a feeling like people wonder what they're spraying in the air up there. I don't think this stuff's going away anytime soon, right? So you can detox from it, but it's going to come back, and then you got to do it
Mhm.
again. It's going to come back, and you got to do it again. Unfortunately, we just have to keep the shield, the defenses up, keep the cleaning going. It's kind of like showering. You can't just shower once and be like, "Oh, I'm clean," and then like I don't have
Right.
to shower again, right? No, it keeps coming back. You got to keep doing it.
Exactly. I love that. And I'm very, very grateful that you guys have offered a promo to my audience, you guys. So if you go to soronastore.org from now until I think it's December 1st, there's a promo and we have it in the banner at the end of the screen, bottom of the screen as well. You can order one elixir and one lucid and receive a free bottle of Zeolite.
Yep,
You have to put them all in your cart, all three, and
all
you'll
three
get
of
the
them.
CO Light
Right,
for
right, just
free
do it.
and put promo code Moonbeam And yeah, so thank you so much for the promo, Ethan.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to letting you guys know how Jens and I feel. And I'm also going to give my mama, my mother, who after she got her shots, she had a huge breakthrough. I think she had 2 or 3 of those shots, and right away she felt horrible and knew that she made a mistake and knew that it made her sick. So I'm really excited to get her on it as well. And we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Well, and if anybody does want to become an affiliate, I don't know how you want to handle that, Meg, but Meg, you have, and this goes for everybody. Once you sign up, you have a link in your back office on mysyrona.org is where you'll log in or sign
Yeah.
up. But you have a link, Meg, you can give people where they can sign up directly to you.
I've got that. Thank you so much for saying that,
Okay.
Ethan. I've got
Yeah,
that in the
because that's
description
different
box.
than if you just want to go order. If you want to just go
Right.
order, then you use the link to order.
Right, perfect. So if you want to check out being an affiliate, that link is in the description box below too. And Ethan, I know you are super busy with all the different projects that you've got going on. Thank you so much for coming on to my channel today.
Yeah, thanks for
I'm
having me.
very, very grateful. And hopefully, maybe we can do it again sometime.
We should,
Uh,
and we should talk about astrology because
yes.
I am very much of the persuasion that, and most people know me actually as the Bible guy, right? Like, even though most of my, I would say my really important life's work that's like impacting people on a daily basis over a broader audience, other than people just being interested in this stuff, is the work in naturopathy and natural supplements, especially with this nanotechnology.
Hmm.
But truth be told, I'm probably even more well versed with the Bible and
Wow.
with astrology. I view the Bible as an astrological treatise, highly symbolic. Of course, we know the 12 disciples were the 12 signs, the 12 tribes of Israel were the 12 signs. Jesus was called the Son of God. That's a play on words, the SUN, Son of God. His
Hmm.
name, Jesus Christ, adds up to 888 in numerology, which is the mythical sun, right? And by the way, this may not be a popular opinion, but when you talk about sun gazing, I think the Matrix has a trick for you. You're not supposed to be looking at things on the outside of you uh, you know, for healing or for regenesis or whatever. Unless you're trying to heal the body, then you got to take actual supplements, right? But you can do it energetically and mentally, spiritually too. But I think the real sun gazing is gazing at the sun in here.
Wow. I love that. That's beautiful. And that just that message that you've shared with us today, Ethan, about taking accountability for our own journeys and not looking
Mhm.
out for a savior, such an important message during these
Yeah,
times. And our health is our wealth, you guys. It really is. And the normie health institutions are dismantling right in front of our
they
eyes.
are.
So let's get on.
New Earth is actually, so Sorona's going to be parked in the middle of New Earth. And we're forming a healing and regenesis center right here on the New Earth
Oh
project in
my
Tennessee.
gosh.
And so we're going to have what a lot of people would call med beds. We're going to have a big healing retreat, or like a whole schedule of things going on year round. I'll be dead center in the middle of that as the project director and naturopath for the New Earth project. But yeah, Syrona is becoming a big part of New Earth, and it's spreading globally. So if you guys ever like, seriously, if you're an entrepreneur and you really have always wanted to get involved with an opportunity that without all the cheesy stuff and all the bullshit and the stuff that you don't want to talk, you don't have to go out and talk to your friends and family. Just talk to the people at the gym, whatever, share it with anybody. But if you're
Right.
entrepreneurial minded and you want to get in on a, like at the beginning stage, could you imagine? Okay, now Amway's scammy and their products suck, but could you imagine getting in on Amway a year into it, right?
That's insane.
So that's what you're looking at here with Syrona. We're
Mhm.
13 months into this, and anyone who gets in now and takes it serious is going to help us grow this thing off the charts, and people will be well rewarded for it, as they should. And the Bible even says that. I mean, a lot of these people talk about how Jesus was poor and you're supposed not money's evil and all this stuff. Jesus had so much money, he had a money manager for the ministry. His clothes were so nice that they gambled for his clothes when he was on the cross. I don't know anybody gambling for a poor man's rags, right?
Wow.
He was best friends with Joseph of Arimathea, who was super wealthy, had enough influence with the governor, Pilate, who was basically the emperor of that area, right? To get him, to allow him to take the body of Jesus off the cross and put him in a brand new tomb, brand new. No one's ever been laid in for. Massive amounts of money, massive amounts of wealth. And it makes sense when you think about it. If Christ is the creator of the entire universe, he owns it all anyway. That there's no more wealth than that. And to say that wealth is evil, I think a lot of people just have an unhealthy relationship with
Yeah.
money, and they have a lot of unhealed trauma. They need to deal with it and realize that wealth can be generated from within. Do that sun gazing within. You'll find your assignment, right? Start getting your body cleaned out.
Mm,
You'll be able to connect back to source, find your assignment, and then there's all kinds of business ideas and miraculous things the world is waiting on to come out of you. And if it don't come out of you, it's going to come out of somebody else. But you have every opportunity in the world to build health, wealth, love, and happiness. That's the four cornerstones of the good life. That's the kingdom of heaven on earth. And that's what we're striving to do. And anyone who wants to team up with Syrona right now, you have a golden opportunity to do that. Not only go out and do what Jesus said, preach the gospel, which, by the way, gospel means good news. It doesn't mean religion. It's quite the opposite, actually. But
mhm.
go out and preach the good news that you can have health, wealth, love, and happiness in your life in abundance, overflowing, cup overflowing, right? Um, and you can spread that. You can help people get healed. Jesus said, go out and heal the sick, feed the poor. Well, how are you going to feed the poor if you're broke? Somebody got to feed you too. Everybody's supposed to be wealthy. So that's what we're doing. When this is a golden opportunity to spread true, legitimate, potent healing supplements to the world and get rewarded for it, so you can build not only that kingdom in your own life that you're supposed to have, but then you can start spreading that to other, because once your cup starts overflowing, now you're going to go out and go start blessing other people. And that's what we do.
Love it. Chrissy says facts in the chat. And also, Jesus said, you will do all the things I do and more.
Yep, that's
Yep.
right.
Amazing times we're in. Thank you so much, Ethan. Again,
Yeah.
look forward to connecting again for sure. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Go check out SyronaStore.org. Promo code is in the description box below. Affiliate link is in the description box below. And really looking forward to this new connection that we have and seeing what unfolds with it.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you
guys,
so
just make sure you use Meg's specific link in the chat, because if we really like to track where everything's coming from. We need to know where everything's coming from, because every organization has to know where the activity is coming and going. Otherwise, you'll fall apart because you're flying blind.
Right.
Make sure you use Meg's link in the description instead of just going to the website.
Thank you so much, Ethan.
Yes.
Until next time. Bye, everybody.
All right. See you. Thanks.